Grounded in a reality. Grounded in reality. I honor those of you who are watching from a benevolent space in your energy. I honor you for watching here on YouTube Live at Blooming Light or whenever you happen to be logging into the video, okay? You all are not gonna see me for a while, but I just want to say that I will check in for the legit people out there who have legitimate, are my legitimate viewers and followers and subscribers, as well as those who have true, sincere, and legitimate um, love or concern for myself and my son. I will be checking in periodically. Okay, so I'm just letting you all know you're not going to see me or hear from me for a while. Okay, I may surprise you. I have a tendency to do that, because I'm not scripted. I don't have a schedule. Okay, so the title says grounded in reality. And the message is, believe it or not, I think I'm gonna get a pull here in a minute just to see if there's any connection. But for someone like me and the collective that I intend and truly read for, okay, that I intend and truly read for, even if on the surface it might appear like they're not grounded in reality, they actually are. So let me give an example. Even as someone who is into metaphysics, esoterics, all of those various different things and modalities, I'm equally someone who has dove into Western science, pragmatic, practical as well. I'm both, okay? I know people like to compartmentalize, and I get that, but I'm actually both. I am. So, what does that mean in real time? So, that means this. Anytime there's any actions or decisions that I've had to make over the years has been grounded in reality, even if I was misinformed about some of the aspects, okay? So, an example, none of us have this all figured out, and there's nothing that is 100% foul proof. There's no, I don't care how big, bad, and tough and skilled any of us or anyone is. Nothing is foul proof 100%. We can be wrong. Our energy can be being played with that creates wrong. You see where I'm going with that? If your energy is being manipulated so to distort what you're understanding or seeing and perceiving. So this is why I say, and this is why I even encourage those who follow or subscribe, have a level of groundedness into reality, because if you simplify and reduce it there, you're still in the proper position, whether or not all the information is not factual. The grounded here, follow me. So the collective, like myself, decisions aren't going to be just based on some random medium, tarot reader, psychic, pastor, preacher, prophet, teacher, any of those things. Even their own, let's say, dream, intuition, or rumor, or someone said. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. That's there, yes. But the pragmatic side is, and this helps for survivors of narcissistic abuse, for sure. Because your whole, if that's what you've been dealing with, it's been one big gas head fuck. Just gaslight. It's been a whole, that's spell work, by the way. Another video. That's a whole nother day. Anything that is meant to cloud you intentionally, hello. Okay? You ain't got to have on a big black hat for that. Okay? Anything that is meant and intended to fuck your head, That's why a whole lot of people don't know that they're a distorted ass witch, a whole full distorted ass wizard. A whole lot of people, motherfuckers, don't know it because they don't have the proper perception in the first place of what that is. What, when we're from an energy perspective. The pragmatic, the practical, grounded in reality. Survivors of antagonistic personalities, whether these people are, folks are narcissistic or not. Antagonists, these are folks, you get it, right? The reality, even if facts aren't 100%, because they do enough to try to make sure you are confused. Hello. This shit, nigga. Anyways, and people was catch up, bitch. But, okay. I'm like, come on. Like, that's to me at this point. I'm just like, come on. It's blood writing all over the wall. All over. Um, what the targets or the collectives that I read for and teach for, truly, their decisions, they've known that they may not always have had all the clarity because their energy has been distorted with. But they track. At some point, what they do, they get into, when you're a survivor of abuse, you may develop pattern recognition. You may start to investigate and learn about what abuse is. If you were never even taught about boundaries, if there was never any based on whatever your origins are, if all those things are factors. When you start to go on a journey to differentiate proper behavior. So we're not talking about a reading, a prophecy in this context for the purpose of this video. We're not talking about any of those things. We're talking about even the covert style of shit. So the withholding is an indicator. See, when you start learning about these, what's kind of toxic and abusive and these various different methods, covert style, because nobody needs to be taught about if you beat somebody bloody that's abusive and that's somebody. Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder kids, nobody needs assistance in life figuring out a black eye. Now, if the person does this in secret, and no one ever sees it. Now that's the caveat. If they do it in secret and no one ever sees it except for the two involved, and then their public persona is somebody that act like they don't even want to kill a bug. Now that's another version of coercive control, covert abuse, which is in secret. So the person, here we go. The person who got that black eye, that no one wants to believe the person who gave them the black eye, that's enough information. I'm trying to make this as simple as I can to explain the grounded in reality pragmatic, because abusers love to paint an illusion of somebody is just fickle, flighty, and just I had a dream. Oh, I had a reading. Oh, the prophet said when I went to the prayer line, the pastor, they think that's, I have a feeling. No. It's just unfortunate that the world hasn't caught up to all the grades and methods of violations and abuse. We're not as savvy, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, because even myself, you see where I'm going? Most shit you think is normal, especially if that's what the fuck you from. If that's been your life, if that has been your culture, if that's been your environment, if that's been your upbringing, if that's been so to you, to me, to us, the person who receives the black eye, pattern recognition behavior, not the persona that this person is putting out to the everybody else, talking in soft, docile tones, bitch, won't say cuss words, and bitch, you know what I'm saying? All these externals. They won't say cuss words. They won't, you know what I'm saying? They cursing and shit, bitch, and you know, yes, mammon and yes, sirring and all shucking and darling and you know, yeah. Making sure they dot all their I's and T's, contributing to every known charity in the land. So if that person that got the black eye, who gonna believe it? Y'all got to take that in context. If there's only two that witness it, and this person has built themselves a persona, and they got glowing character witnesses and testimonies to it, who's gonna believe that person that's got that black eye? Who's gonna believe them? See, no one wants to talk that way because that's the world that we live in. Nobody's gonna believe that person. No one. Not even the so-called discerning. And this is where the targets learn that most people don't have it, dear. This is where they learn that all these things are flawed. Discernment, sensing, giftings. Because if they were 100% accurate for everyone who claims it all of the time, then the people would be believing that they got that black eye. Especially those who claim to be gifted or discerning, or you know, the gifts, you know, depends on what they lean into. Grounded in reality, the decisions that I and the collectives that I truly intend to teach for and read for, they made decisions based on pattern recognition and based on self-love journey and based on learning. So they have integrated all sorts of things. If they're anything like me, they have sought professional help. It's kind of fascinating how there's people out there who will be trying to imply something. It's like we're not the ones with the problem with going to get. It's the people who feel like they ain't got none that needs to go. We don't have a problem with seeking medical and professional and mental. Most of us went down that path because shit just didn't make sense, and we. So we, the collectives, have sought professional. This is how they learned. This is how they unlearned and learned many things. They integrated all various modalities. They didn't just become, you know, fluffy religious zealots or just fluffy spiritual tree huggers. No. It's behavior. It's treatment, in some cases the lack thereof, and everything in between. Withholding is abuse. When the target picks up a pattern, okay, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, even if I got facts crossed upside down ahead of the game, 10 years in advance, whatever Whatever the case may be, due to energy distortion, due to people playing in their energy, in order to paint a picture of instability, that's their safety net. That person that gets the black eye, they don't need the approval of everybody to concede. They don't need the approval of somebody else to come in and say, yes, you indeed got hit in the eye by this trashy motherfucker. We can see that you got a black eye, and we perceive and we can see that you got hit by this whole bag. They don't need that, because they're the ones, they're like, fuck you and your need for proof. I'm the one, bitch, here with the fucking black eye. Kiss my royal ass. Like, fuck you. Screw your past. Nancy. Nancy. Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, original version. Main character, dream space, astral realm, shape-shifting as Freddy Krueger, acting like an authority figure, acting like a defender, a leader, a protector. A holder of law, because that's what the hall pass bitch represented. She's supposed to be a holder of the law, a holder and a reinforcer. And her shape-shifting ass was Freddy Krueger's raggedy ass, perv ass. Perv. You're a perv, bitch. I wonder if anybody ever caught that. His whole ass was a perv. Ooh. Tormenting the innocent children and shit. And then came for teenagers because the parents who lit his whole ass up. I mean, I'm saying it in a funny urban way, but isn't that the premise of the Nightmare on Elm Street? You know what I'm saying? He was avenging the fact that they hunted him down because he was a perv, and they lit him on fire. He violated kids. He did nasty things. Anywho, Nancy said in that clip or frame of the film, she said, screw your past. Because she was running and like bumped into Freddie, the girl, and knocked her down. She was like, where's your past? Screw your past. And what I'm really saying with that, viewer discretion is advised here. Okay, so please take everything, again, grounded in reality and with a grain of salt. She was the one being tortured and tormented. She didn't have time for a focus group. She didn't have time to get so-called leader that's supposed to be a defender of all that is good and moral and right. Correct, left, up, down, all around. Okay. She didn't have time for that. She was the one being terrorized. Like, screw your fucking past. You're a distraction. I don't even know yet because you the killer anyway. You're a fucking distraction. You don't want me. You don't want me to see and know and perceive the truth. In fact, you want me to slow down so you can head fuck me and so you can kill me. And what's fascinating is Nancy's character, when the one that she dies in, guess how she died? I think it was Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Guess how she died? Once again, his character showed up as a shapeshifter. Somebody that now in this case, since the law didn't appeal to her, then it came as somebody she loved. Her father, who had gotten killed by, Freddy Krueger. And so he came ethereal, floating from the sky. When she was most vulnerable and susceptible and tired and worn, to take her defenses down, to get close to her. And as soon as he embraced her, he killed her. This is why the targeted population, we learn these types of things because we go through those things time and time again. This is where we had to pattern and be grounded in reality of what we experienced. Whether or not we have all the facts or not is not even relevant. It's the fact that every occurrence that we have attempted to give a benefit of the doubt, every occurrence that we wanted to believe that people were on the up and up, give them a space in our life, in our heart, even if it's 5 minutes, even if it's every time we do it, people show their ass. They reveal so that's the groundedness. It's not, because they got a reading or because there was a word up from the Lord at the, it's no. When I experience blah, 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 when I do such and such and such and such, when I give an opportunity for this relationship, every time I go back to try to salvage a relationship, every time I attempt to talk and communicate, every time I attempt to reconcile, every time I attempt, once again, to believe in the system, every time I attempt to believe that there's a baseline of decency that everybody operates in, every time I attempt to hold to that belief, I get hurt. My children get hurt. We get put in a compromised position. Every time I don't do my due diligence, and I think landlords and managers across the U.S., property owners, have a level of baseline human decency, I or my children get in some weird Children of the Corn coke town. Every time, every occurrence, then when I do this, we're put in compromising situations, entrapment that leans in the favor towards those who appear to be a helper. Grounded in reality, how people treat us and how they fail to treat us, what people do and what they fail to do, what people say and what they fail to say. How people do what they do, how people say what they say, and the repetitive patterns of such. And then that's the grounded decision making. So we don't get, the collective don't get as glued and stuck onto all the factoids. factoids are not always as necessary. Once again, the facts of abuse is what they go by. Those are the facts they go by. The fact is, in the example that I am providing, the person who only 2 people in the world knows that this person gave them a black eye and has a pattern of doing that because their public persona and personas to every other relationship is this squeaky clean. So for the receiver of the black eye, they have their facts. You see that? And in many cases, you can't always provide the substantial evidence. I think I reposted some videos on my TikTok platform talking about why those things and tactics are used to begin with. Because how is that person, okay, in the example I'm providing, how are they to prove that this person gave them a black eye? I want someone out there to answer that question. And truthfully and honestly, without over religifying it, without spiritualizing it, just basic, grounded in reality. How is that person that's on the receiving end, and there's no traceable, there's nothing that's substantial evidence to trace that that's done? How are they supposed to prove that? And when it comes down to the rubber meeting the road, does it matter when they're the ones that have been on the receiving end of it? Even though they don't have any, they can't provide any substantial evidence and proof that person blase is the one that has been repetitively giving them a black eye. And are they supposed to wait until the world catches up to agree with that? Are they supposed to wait till they can manage to play private eye, private detective for 15 years? To try, hopefully, to put cameras and hopefully they're not tampered with. Like, are they supposed to wait for their health and well-being, mind, body, and soul? Because maybe a black eye next time turns into a concussion. Maybe the next time it turns into their not being here, because abusers progress. They pile on. So are they supposed to wait until an authority figure get their head out their ass, until the so-called law catches up? When it's them that's getting the black eyes. I've said this on another video. It's easy for any of us, you all, to sit back on our asses, fat cats, sit back on our duffs. It's easy for any of us when we are not the receivers of said abuse. It's easy for anybody to take a course, a seminar, get a certificate, theorize, if that's the word. That's easy to do when your life is not the one that's impacted, when you are not the one that's receiving the black eye. It's easy to sit in a chair, sit in an office, sit behind a computer, sit behind the screen, and focus group it and analyze it from here to kingdom come while this person is getting black eyes every day. While folks figure out if they can understand what the fuck is going on, and it's taking 10, 15 years to figure the shit out because you're dealing with people who are covert abusers. The grounded in practicality helps save their lives in some cases. Because if they were to wait and rely on externals to catch up, some of them may not make it. While people have to red tape, bureaucracy, BS, process, they may not make it. Like I said, that black eye lead to a concussion, all because there was not enough substantial evidence. Myself and the collective have made decisions grounded in reality. People aren't loving, aren't kind, or their kindness is poisonous and it's entrapment. And the withholding. So the target then will leave. They'll leave. They'll go silent. They will make these changes because it's like, I don't have time for that. My children are being hurt and affected. Our lives are being affected, whether the world wants to see this for what it is or not. This is intentional. There's big wigs behind it. And that's just the bottom line. It makes the target look fickle. It makes the target look, but the target also gets to the place of no longer caring about those things too. Because once again, the person who got the black eye, everybody else gonna think they tripping when they decide blah, 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 blah. But so what? They're the ones receiving the black eye. So they're going to get out of the place and the environment and from the person or people who is giving them the black eye and fuck everybody else who on bullshit. It means, and what's fascinating is that the collective, they suffer triple times over. They suffer the abuse and the violation, but they suffer the fact that they have to even navigate in such a way. Nobody wakes up wanting to be in survival mode. So to shit over all accusations on the collective that they're making something out of nothing, or they're making choices and decisions on a whim or off of things that are not grounded in reality, or off of some kind of a sixth sense and feeling and dream or reading or word, is erroneous. And I'm not even saying this to convince anybody out there. I'm actually saying this for those who are sincere and on a journey of really trying to understand. I'm talking to sincere people. I am not addressing those who are a part of benefiting from hurting lives. I am not addressing individuals who are on the spectrum: narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, sadist, dark triad. They are what they are. They're going to die as they are. And I accept that.